And Holding Chairman requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on April 10th, 2024 for a presentation regarding the X-Gen Holding initiatives. Mr. Barlow, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Council.
Thank you very much. My name is Christian Barlow. I live at 211 Tippy Toe Trail in Anaconda, Montana. The reason why I'm here tonight is because I am hoping to build a relationship with Butte long-term and move some of our companies into Butte from various other states. So if you guys don't mind, we're going to take this a little bit different than how you guys are normally used to it. We're not going to death by PowerPoint you. I'd rather have this as an open discussion. So how I'd like to proceed, I'll give you guys my background. I'll introduce the first company, let you guys take a look at that, and then build on from there. So my name is Christian Barlow. I founded X-Gen Holdings back in 2017. It started with an initiative called IAQ-CPR. All of us are experienced with COVID. All of us went through that, no matter which side you lean, that wonderful tragedy, if you will, from a political standpoint. During that time, we were manufacturing air quality devices. Those air quality devices have been being manufactured out of Goshen, Indiana, through one of our partners called KMC Controls. My wife and I have decided to move back to Montana about 4 years ago. When we did, we decided we were also going to move those businesses back with us when it made sense. One of the things that was important to the holding company and to me in general was ethics. And so we, over the last 2.5 years, have been vetting Butte and vetting Anaconda, and ultimately deemed we'd like to partner with Butte and bring manufacturing to Butte. And I'll leave it at that. As far as the holding company itself, the intent originally was to move IAQ first. Upon review of Butte and upon review of the infrastructure within Butte, we decided that we needed to elaborate amongst those projects and also look at power infrastructure and long-term stability if we were to move these companies into town. So as some of you may have seen, there are some other initiatives in there. One of them have the word nuclear on them. So before we start diving into nuclear, I'll dive into my background, so hopefully you guys are a little more comfortable with us saying nuclear in the room. So my background is, I went straight in the Air Force out of high school. I worked at Malmstrom Air Force Base in the Power Refrigeration Electronics Lab. I ran the lab for a number of years, worked with a lot of the technology R&D and advancements within the lab for the missile complex. I left the complex in 2012. Retired out under a medical disability, left and decided to start within the engineering sector. So I'll harass you guys later on your lighting project because I might be able to help you on that one too. But the short and sweet is I moved into private sector. Upon moving in a private sector, I worked for a company called ABM, which is a Fortune 500. I ran their engineering division for the state of Texas, building power plants, building power and infrastructure, and what are known as guaranteed energy performance contracts. So doing large-scale energy projects for public entities, guaranteeing the savings, being on the hook for it for the remainder of the life, and ultimately ended up building an air quality company off of that. So the products that you guys are passing around right now was one of our first companies and is still an active and flourishing company. The devices that you're looking at, if any of you are familiar with air ionization or air cleaning, it was very big during the height of COVID. Our company owns all of the patents for variable ionization and variable ionization air cleaning. So anytime you modulate an ionizer, that is our IP, and we manufacture those goods. So what you guys are touching now, within the baggies are ionizers themselves. The little black box, if you would mind holding up that. Yep. So those are ionizers, so those actually go within airflow. We're looking to manufacture those here in the county. If you hold up that little black box, if you don't, yep. Perfect. If you take a look at that device, that is a smart controller. So prior to COVID and building up, most of the building automation controllers were serial, so they're either on or off. We found a way to actually make them true variable in state. So that was one of the inventions that we hold that I invented. When you look at ionization as a whole, it is atomic balancing, so balancing the polarity charge of an atom either positive or negative. So quite a bit of atomic background. Moving forward, we'd be looking to build a manufacturing plant here within Butte. So we've talked with Mr. Gallagher at length so far and hope to continue. We've also worked with the state as well to start to look at those initiatives. Some of the other companies that we're looking at bringing in, I invented Generation 4 night vision. So we are looking to manufacture night vision tube assemblies here within Butte. And then we are also looking at hiring full-time and moving our holding company to Butte, which is currently in Boca Raton, Florida. So with that, and as far as jobs, one of the first things that come up is jobs. Right now we employ about 120 people out of Goshen, Indiana. Our intent is to have 60 of those individuals move to town and employ an additional 60 from local populace and train from local populace within those manufacturing plants as we build. Within the optics company, we do not have a manufacturing plant for that right now. We've been subcontracting out of Tempe, Arizona, employing about 60 people through that process over that time and looking to scale up from there. So we'd be moving those jobs and those manufacturing resources here as well. Of course, when you look at this type of infrastructure and this type of manufacturing, power and infrastructure is a big deal. I think we're all familiar with some of the local PR and issues that have occurred from power fluctuations, demand, and cost rising. So one of the first things we did was look at vetting, building what's known as a small modular reactor nuclear power plant here within Butte. So I don't know if any of you guys saw that within my letter. But the short and sweet is we're looking at building a 500 megawatt nuclear power plant off of our manufacturing facility. Of that, we'll be using 130 to 140 megawatts to start. And then the available power would be available to any of the other manufacturing partners or big users in the area with the intent to give it to them as close to cost as feasible to re-emphasize and vitalize channel partners in the area. So with that, that's a mouthful. There's a lot of questions. So I would love to open it to questions and then kind of dive into each one as you guys have questions. So.
All right, thank you, Mr. Barlow. Thank you for considering Butte. This is all great. So if you were, I guess, what is your timeline for moving these to Butte if you were to do that?
Certainly. So we're looking at land acquisitions with the county. I've talked with Mr. Gallagher at length on that as well. I believe you guys may be versed in that at this point. But the intent is to try to acquire that land in the next 2 to 3 months. And then our intent, and we've already talked with the NRC, which is the federal regulation for nuclear power plants. We have talked with them. We have already been greenlit to build here. We're working with Westinghouse Electric. So we'll be using one 300 megawatt Westinghouse SMR, and we'll be using an additional 40 eVinci microreactors, all tied into that plant. And so we do have NRC's blessing. We have gone through a lot of that vetting process already, and Westinghouse is already game to do the project within the county. So the intent would be purchase the land in the next 2 to 3 months. If we can acquire the land in the next 2 to 3 months, we are able to actually have right around 100 megawatts of nuclear power online by January of 26. Being that it's a small modular reactor and being that they're portable, there is going to be no waste dealt with here in the county. They're closed cells, so it's not like if you guys have ever seen a nuclear power plant with a big open water-cooled reactor. These are actually enclosed air-cooled reactors. So there's no water risk, there's no water intrusion risk. It is all air-cooled, air-sourced.
Okay. I'll open it up to questions. Commissioner Sorge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here tonight. It sounds exciting. And there are a lot of questions. Obviously,
Yes, sir.
it's that's a huge project. So my only question is, would you need any state permitting? You talked about federal permitting.
Yes, sir.
What about?
Yes, so the state passed in 2021 new legislation that said that we no longer have to go out to citizens to vote on nuclear reactors. Prior to 21, we had to go out for a vote. That is no longer the process within the state. And so as long as we have land to build and NRC is available, the state is completely game. We've had active conversations with Michael Freeman, who is, of course, the policy advisor for energy up there, and numerous others at the state, and none of them are going to require permitting for that power plant. And so it'd really be localized permitting for the manufacturing side, and those would be individual companies. And then the NRC would oversee any of the permitting, structure, build, audits within the actual nuclear power plant itself. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Thank you, Mr. Barlow.
Yes, sir.
It's exciting. I'm not very educated in this kind of stuff, but it sounds really, really great to me. So I support 100%. I just maybe like to have Kristen Rosa come up because I know it's out in her neck of the woods out there. She kind of keeps us informed about everything that's happening out there, and she does a great job of it. So maybe if she could just get us a little enlightenment about how the process is going and how you're thinking the process should go. So thank you.
TIF Administrator Rosa. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson, Commissioner Fisher, Commissioners. So we have been in talks with Mr. Barlow for quite a couple months, maybe, probably not quite 2 months. But through the description of his project, we decided to have him present to you first. We expect that this then purchase agreement will go back to the TIFA board for their review and their recommendation back to you. The parcel that we're talking about is a 160-acre parcel that is north of REC Silicon. It is the one that was optioned by Mitsubishi. They terminated their option about a year ago. And so we're pretty interested in hearing about this and seeing if we can move this project forward.
Yeah. Follow up, Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Kristen. You're always a wealth of information. You got another neighbor out here, happens to be a niece. I'd like to just, she's with the REC company out there, and being a neighbor, I like to always hear what the neighbors think about what's going on. So if she'd like to come up and give a little spiel, I think it'd be nice for all of us to hear a little bit.
Uncle Jim, Commissioner Jim. Thank you. I have been also
Can you state your name for the
I'm
record,
sorry.
please?
I'm
that's
Deanna
okay.
Worley. I am the Vice President of Operations for REC Silicon here in Butte. So Christian and I have been in discussions since late last year when we made our announcement that we would be discontinuing some operations out at our facility, which is happening. And the reason it is happening, as you're probably aware, is power imbalance in the state of Montana does not allow us to continue operating our polysilicon business, which is a huge impact to us. We are one of 2 suppliers in the world, but based on the fact that there is a power imbalance in the state of Montana, we will be shutting down that operation by the end of the year. So Christian contacted us early on, and of course, you know, my support for this is overwhelming because to create not only power for the state of Montana and for operations, but also green power, because that's where we need to go, right? We are a renewable company. We sell to places all over the world that expect us to be green. And my biggest concerns, well, Christian's heard a lot of my concerns, but one of them is that we need to educate people on what this process is, because everybody has a vision in their head about what nuclear power means. But if you look into it and you get, you know, up to date, and I'm getting myself up to date as well, this is the way of the future, and this is what we need to do to recruit in these businesses, not just what Christian can bring to the table, but I sit across the table from battery companies, and I have to tell them where our restraints are in the state of Montana. So having a viable solution that this community and the state can support is the way that we develop into the future. So I fully support this. I hope that we all can support it for the future of not only, you know, Silver Bowl County, but other businesses in the state of Montana.
Okay, great, thank you. Follow up, Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Kristen Rosa. Mr. Barlow, I heard from the neighbors, I've heard from you, and I look to get more educated myself, and I wish you the best in the future. So anything that I can do or some of the commissions can do, you just let us know and we'll work with you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. If I may, one more comment. The intent is, and the reason we're utilizing eVinci reactors to start, is that the NRC has already approved all final designs on the eVinci, meaning we don't have to wait on any NRC review. The 300 SMR, which is a Westinghouse product as well, is currently sitting at the NRC as well. Westinghouse has done a scaled-up version of that reactor, which is 1,000 megawatt, and has successfully brought those on in numerous places across the United States. This will be a scaled-down version of that, and also a air-cooled instead of water-cooled version. And so the intent is to, from January 26 to January 27, bring on an additional 100 megawatts of eVinci reactors to allow a total amount of 200 megawatts prior to beginning construction and executing on that 300 because of the immediate need. And the holding company itself is only looking to utilize about 50 megawatts for that time period and then ramp up to 120 megawatts. And so the intent would be our surrounding neighbors to have access to that power plant to offset and buy at cost.
Follow-up, Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Like to see you networking together and making it happen.
Yes,
Good
sir.
luck. Best wishes.
Any other questions? Oh.
Are there any other questions? Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Yeah, Mr. Barlow, this sounds wonderful. It's almost so wonderful, it's hard to believe that we're at this point already. You've obviously done a lot of talking. I know 500 megawatts is a boatload of power. I know, I believe it wasn't more than a few years ago, Northwestern Energy put some RFPs out for power plants, and the ones that produce that kind of power, they couldn't look at because they didn't have the sales for it.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you know, Ms. Worley says they're willing to buy power from you. Many places will buy power if you're going to be affordable. So will the power plant be built first? What will you do for the power prior to the plant being built?
So, sir, respectfully, that's a loaded question. You know, in order to build a power plant, we have to go through concrete foundation review. So the difference between building manufacturing-based manufacturing is you have reviews of concrete infrastructure with localized zoning and our engineering. When you start to dabble in power plants, NRC comes in and will do core studies of our concrete. They do structural studies and do complete reviews. So a more thorough audit than I think any of us have experienced, even me with my nuclear background. Granted, we have experience from STP, which is a 3,200 megawatt plant down in Texas that I advised for a number of years. And so I'd say the intent is to immediately start construction on the power plant and start pouring concrete, because that is a long lead time process. And so the intent would be to start that process immediately, even prior to moving manufacturing. And the reason being is that we need at a minimum 30 megawatts prior to us moving. And respectfully, I understand Northwestern's stance here in the state. I specialize in microgrids and building energy efficiency projects for public entities. That is my background. And so the intent is to keep as much of this within a self-contained microgrid as feasible and keep it off Northwest transmission lines or brokered outside of any other channel partners, so that I'm not limited to sales price or distribution values. In other words, so I can make it as feasible as possible for our surrounding partners. And without disclosing too much, one of the reasons why is we are incentivized to reopen some other divisions that have hence left because we use some of those products within night vision. And I look forward to utilizing those more. And so we're looking for really long-term partnerships within the county and within the surrounding growth of our companies. And so I'd say the first intent is 50 megawatts, give or take, but we're looking to have 100 megs online by January 26, and then begin construction of IAQ first, and then Extion Optics second. And we'll be building the holding company headquarters at that same time. That way we can relocate those staff from Florida.
Follow-up, Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chairman. So if you get your manufacturing built and you start out with 30 megawatts,
Yes, sir.
is that power available? That's a bunch of power also.
That power would be available through building my own microgrid with or without the power plant. And so the intent is we are gung-ho and moving full steam ahead. It's very rare that you have NRC supporting a project this quickly. And it's even more rare to have a company like Westinghouse backing us. And so I would say due to our partnerships and everything else, it makes sense long-term, especially with my family being here. We're here now full-time, have been for 4 years. I would like to get it online as quick as feasible, but we will do that with our own enclosed grid one way or another, even if that's solar or cogen, until that power plant's online. But the intent is not to tie in to current existing infrastructure more than we have to.
Thank you. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners? Commissioner Reardon.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
Well, you're not too smart, I'll tell you. Huh? I'm really impressed what you got going here and all that. My question to you is, under the construction of this power plant and all that, how many construction workers do you expect to have on that job?
Yes, sir. So that's another loaded question. So thank you for that. So the short and sweet is around 20 to 30 full-time welders for pipe work and airflow work within a 2-year interval of construction. That will taper off over time within the construction sector. Being that the power plant side is under heavy scrutiny, we will be bringing in some of the construction partners as well. We'll be subbing out locally as much as feasible. But some of that piping does require additional credentials, additional training. And so where we can provide it, we will. But some of that may be coming in. And so I can't give you full figures yet. I'd be happy to furnish you docs on that. But when it comes to manufacturing, then the intent is to use as much localized labor as possible to build those plants, get those plants up and running. But when it comes to the power plant specifically, being that it's so sensitive and honestly so important to the community, I need the most professionals on the job site as quick as feasible.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chief Executive Gallagher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Thank you, Christian, for being here. As was noted, we started discussions about 2 months ago with Christian about his vision for moving his companies here, also with the small cell nuclear as well. I've been in contact with the state agencies as he's talked about. Had calls into the governor's office, talked to Michael Freeman, was referenced to Director Green in the Department of Commerce, and then we've connected with Jamie Sharon of the Department of Commerce as well. So this project is no secret to the state. They understand what's going on. They understand the intricacies that it takes to stand these companies, and it is a really expedited schedule, but learning more about it. I have a father-in-law that is in the nuclear. He was a nuclear engineer, worked in the Idaho facility. He was on nuclear subs, and we've been talking about the Vinci reactors and stuff, and so I've been learning a lot about it. And so this is real. This is an opportunity for Butte-Silver Bowl, for our local companies, REC, Montana Resources, all of our companies that are high power users could benefit from this. So it's something that I think that I can stand behind and I can support. I think it's, I didn't sit back and wait to see if this was real or not. We went out and we were looking to see, is this feasible for Butte-Silver Bowl? And so we support moving forward. Of course, we'll be watching the progress and has the regulation of it all, but we wish you good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. And one more comment, if I may.
Yeah.
I do want to note, we've been working with the state for about 9 months now in the background on getting permits and everything in place. We do have standing mutual NDAs and affidavits into the state right now for non-disclosures. And so a lot of this happened in the background and will continue to happen in the background due to the sensitivity of it and some of the pull of some of the other energy providers and competitors. We're trying to keep it moving as fast as we can without having to disclose as much as feasible. We are prepared to issue pamphlets out to you guys as the commission, and so we'll be sending that over to you as well by the end of the week to distribute out. Any additional questions or anything else, feel free to reach out or ask for more clarification.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
And thanks again for considering Butte, and
Yes, sir.
anything you need from us. Seems like a great thing. So
Yes, sir.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Moving to Section 2, Communications. 1, Communication Number 2024-82, Hattie Thatcher, BSB Commissioner, District 3, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for the recipients of the Economic Mill Levy monies to give a presentation within 90 days of project completion on Wednesday, March 13th, 2024, or Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. That was actually supposed to say April 10th. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. At this time, I'd like to place communication number 2024-82 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay. 11 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 2, Communication Number 2024-132, Mark Neary, Public Works Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for April 10th, 2024 for concrete work at Civic Center, Ophir Street, Wells and Mullen Streets, and Cherokee Park. We had this bid opening earlier. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. At this time, I'd like to place communication number 2024-132 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. Motion passes. 3, Communication Number 2024-138, Jim Keenan, Water Plant Superintendent, requesting Council of Commissioners permission to schedule a public hearing for April 3rd, 2024 for the purpose of soliciting comments on the final Community Wildlife Protection Plan. We had that public hearing last week. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. At this time, I would like to place communication number 2024-138 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 4, Communication Number 2024-141, Ed Hurd, Parks and Recreation, Interim Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for April 3rd, 2024 for a double-decker mower for the Parks and Recreation Department. We held this bid opening last week. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. At this time, I'd like to place communication number 2024-141 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 5, Communication Number 2024-143, John Sullivan, Government Buildings Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for April 10th, 2024 for LED lighting upgrade for the detention center. We did not receive any bids for this one, so Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. At this time, I'd like to place communication number 2024-143 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Commissioner Anderson. Clerk, will you record the vote?
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. Motion passes. 6, Communication Number 2024-148, Kristen Rosa, Economic Development Coordinator, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for April 17th, 2024 for the North Park Mount project. We will hold that for the bid opening next week. 7, communication number 2024-162, Christian Barlow, XGen Holding Chairman, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on April 10th, 2024, for a presentation regarding the XGen Holding Initiative. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. At this time, I'd like to place communication number 2024-162 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay. 11 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 8, communication number 2024-163, Aubrey Japp, Butte-Silver Bowl Public Archives Director, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on April 24th, 2024, on the Archives 2023 Annual Report. We will hold that for the presentation on April 24th. 9, communication number 2024-165, Angie Mulliken, Public Works Budget and Grant Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for April 10th, 2024 for the Molten Dam Spillway and Embankment Improvement Project for the Water Division. We will hold that, we had that bid opening today. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. At this time, I'd like to place communication number 2024-165 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please? Clerk, will you record the vote?
11 yea, 0 nay.
11 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. Motion passes. 10, communication number 2024-169, Ed Hurd, Parks and Recreation Interim Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for April 24th, 2024 for hazardous tree removal at Stodden Park. We will hold that for the bid opening on April 24th. 11, communication number 2024-172, Lisa Carey, Office of Emergency Management Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a public hearing for April 17th, 2024 for the purpose of amending the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget to allow for increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue. We will hold that for the public hearing on April 17th. I will now ask for public comment on any public matter not on the agenda. Seeing none, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signal by saying aye. All opposed?